the revolutionary ankle lock system, an integrated brace built into the boots, delivering unrivaled support, protecting ligaments from twists, tears, and trauma.
Regan Slaymaker for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and Our Kings, and I have the pleasure to be joined by promoter Ben Shalom. Ben, fight week, British title fight, but first of all, how are you doing?
Very well. Obviously a massive week for us. A exciting week, a big week, British title week, but obviously the first and the start of the deal with the BBC. So it's a massive week, I think, for the sport of boxing. To get boxing on the national broadcaster after all this time, and it's not just the linear, but the whole I think it's the biggest platform in the UK still by some distance. So it's the start of something very, very special. But it's a big week, and I'm really looking forward to it. Definitely,
we'll get into the fight. There's a few things I want to touch on, but. Obviously, we had the launch press conference a couple of weeks ago now, but I feel like the added time with TKV's injury has allowed kind of Fraser to be more angry at Jamie TKV. I saw the stuff on TalkSport yesterday. It's only good for the fight. I mean, yeah, it's turned into a bit more of a spicy fight than it originally was.
It has, and to be honest, I wasn't expecting that yesterday. I saw it like everyone else. I think Jamie has his own frustrations. He's had to wait for a long time for his opportunity against David Adelaide. It comes. He is cruising to a victory, caught with an illegal shot. It felt like the decision should have been overturned. Got a rematch ordered, but then the rematch never happened. So there was no recourse. There was no justification for Jamie as to what happened, and he was left without anything. Obviously now he gets to fight for the British title against Fraser Clark, so he's in a position where he's under pressure. Fraser Clark, who has had a crazy year, and you look back at that first Fabio Wardley fight and you think, what could have been? I think for many people he won that fight. He had his point docked, but it was an incredible fight, and credit to Fabio. Look what he's gone on and been able to achieve now, heavyweight world champion. It's quite incredible. So that should give him extra belief, extra motivation, and an extra understanding that he is that good. He can get to the top of the sport. He was able to put on a performance like that in his 8th fight. This is his 10th fight. Still be, I think, the joint fastest number of fights to a British heavyweight title. So, I don't think he gets the credit he deserves with the amount of the little professional experience he's had. And he's had to come back from obviously that second fight with Fabio, come back now with Tete. But this is a huge moment for him, a huge night. He cannot lose on Saturday night, and but he has an opportunity to put in a statement and get himself right in the top of the sport. Because from a profile point of view, from a popularity point of view, from a status point of view, he has all the ingredients and the talent. Now it's about getting the wins that he needs to get himself to the top.
Definitely Olympic bronze medalist. I mean, on the BBC, it's massive as well. I do want to go back a couple of weeks to Chris Eubank Jr.'s defeat to Conor Benn. I mean, not to be for Chris, but I mean, what another exceptional night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Ben.
Unbelievable. I think seven fights now with Chris, and every one is blockbuster. He's able to garner an audience like I've never seen before. I do think he is the reason why these shows are so big. I was with him when he broke viewing figure records on Sky Sports against Liam Williams, then 2 pay-per-views against Liam Smith, 2 stadium shows against Conor Benn. From performance wise, that wasn't him. Anyone with a brain, you don't need to be a doctor, you don't need to be anything to see that wasn't the Chris Eubank Jr. that we know. But it was an unbelievable spectacle, and credit to Conor Benn, because it was his night, and he'll enjoy that. For Chris, he now needs to recover and take the time to find himself and make sure that he is 100% the next time he steps in that ring, and that will be the goal of all of us.
Definitely as well. Obviously, in the post-fight press conference, obviously, kind of he didn't want to talk about any of the issues. He said he went through hell and back, and that was kind of it, obviously. And then there was obviously he said something to you, and you were about to say that. Was that more about kind of him wanting to give Conor the credit for the win rather than talking about kind of what happened to him during camp?
It's more a fighter. Look, I think all fighters go through things during camp, some worse than others. But they're fighters and they're warriors, and they don't want to give excuses. And Chris has never done that. He's never done that in any fight that I've seen. Even in the first fight, he wasn't 100%, and he came through an unbelievable fight. So we'll have thought that he could probably still do enough. But look, he doesn't want to put it down to that Conor won a fight. Chris has to deal with that, but he also has to make sure that he's not in that position again, and that's all we can hope.
Definitely as well. Get back to kind of your deal with the BBC, Ben, as well. Obviously, with the end of the Sky Sports deal, why was Boxer being on the BBC the right decision for you guys?
We've always been a disruptor. We've always wanted to do things differently. We've always wanted to take boxing to the biggest audiences, and when that opportunity and offer came around, it was something that we felt like we had to take, and it was an opportunity that presented itself, something that we've been working on for a long time. Did we think we could get it over the line? Maybe not. This is the first time boxing will be on the BBC in 20 years. So to be the promoter of doing that, I mean, I'm incredibly honoured. The team have worked very hard for this, and for us, it's about creating household names. And it's not just the channel, the size of the BBC platform. It is the biggest platform in this country. So to have that, to be able to plug into that, the news, the entertainment, the iPlayer, the website, the digital platforms, and obviously the linear TV as well, that's a big, big microphone. And for us, it was like, how can we put the commercial elements together to make it make sense? We've been able to do that. We've been able to do a deal that makes sense for our business, that doesn't preclude us from the pay-per-view fights. And so it's made a huge amount of sense, and yeah, something I'm extremely excited about.
Definitely. Well, obviously, I was very glad that when Ed messaged me about you doing media today, because a lot of the we're kind of hearing, a lot of people are just saying things online with no kind of legitimacy to them. So when people are saying that the deal is only for iPlayer and things like that, but obviously people had doubts, but these are on primetime BBC channels. I mean, that's absolutely massive, isn't it, for Boxer? With the talk of the iPlayer, but getting it on BBC Two and BBC Three, that's putting loads of eyes on these new fight nights, isn't it?
It's huge. I mean, it's massive for the fighters. It's massive for us. We know what the deal is. We're hoping to be doing a show every single month. Saturday night is the start of that. Mm-hmm. As you said, BBC Two is massive, but BBC in general is massive. Mm-hmm. I've never seen a scale like it. I know the fighters are feeling the effects of people knowing about their fights and outside of the boxing community, and they'll definitely feel it on Saturday night. So it's an enormous opportunity. It really is. And it can't be downplayed, but not just for Boxer, for the sport. I think the sport needs oxygen. The sport needs to grow. The sport needs to be seen. We're going to make sure it's seen, and we're going to create stars in the process. So it's an exciting new journey. With privilege, there's pressure. You know, it's a national broadcaster. You're going out to a huge audience. You have to get it right, and so yeah, we're very excited. It feels like a coming of age for us as a business and maturity in terms of going into this deal with a lot more autonomy and a lot more of an ability to put on what we'd like to put on. And yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Definitely as well. I mean, you just mentioned one show per month. Obviously, there was a lot of talk about kind of the production ledger with only 4 shows per year. I mean, so what you can say, there's going to be 12 shows in a calendar year. Is that right?
Well, look, in July and August it's slower, so I'm not sure about that, but certainly for the foreseeable. So starting in November, December, January, February, and onwards. So yeah, it's going to be busy. But we also have to get it right, and we're only starting to scratch the surface of how big the platform is. It's not been primed for boxing. It's not had a promoter in 20 years. We're trying to integrate now the teams to be able to essentially create the most powerful platform in boxing. That is the goal, and I think over the next few months we'll see ourselves doing that.
Definitely. And another thing I want to bit of clarification on. Obviously, there was a lot of talk. Obviously, that a few fighters have kind of announced their free agency, and one of them has signed with, obviously, Matchroom, that being Ben Whittaker, the same night, fighting on the same night as you. Obviously, Vidal Riley as well. Obviously, a lot of talk kind of that fighters' deals were with Sky Sports and not with Boxer. Again, I'll get some clarification from you. What? Obviously, I imagine it's not as easy as you just telling me kind of yes or no, but kind of what is the clarification on that?
No, not look. All fighters' contracts are with promoters, but every broadcaster and every platform has their own business goals, has their own what they want to see, what they want on their platform. As a promoter, ultimately we're service providers to our broadcaster, and they're all driven by business. And the Zone's business model is very different from Sky's. Sky's business model is very different from BBC's, and so it's about working with your broadcaster to decide. What we have now is more autonomy. What we have now is ability to work with the fighters that we want to work with the fighters that have the full package, with the fighters that want the test, want the big fights, and our broadcaster is behind as well. So it is a transition. You know, when you move from different broadcasters who have different ideas, different dates, different goals, that's a transitional moment for everyone, and that means there will be change, and that's just going to happen.
Definitely. I mean, talking about fighters to kind of build as superstars as well. One fighter I want to start with of yours is Azim. I mean, really good performance against Kurt Scooby. I mean, had to deal with a lot of nonsense from Team Scooby himself, but a great performance. And yeah, I mean, a fight that you can really build on the BBC as well.
Huge. And look, for me, he doesn't get enough credit like he deserves, because he's the most talented fighter, in my opinion, coming through. I'd say him and Moses are the ones that can go on to be unified champions. He is that good. It was good to see him getting the plaudits he deserved. But for us, it was never. Kurt Scobie's, people were tipping him to win. He's not on that level. Adam Azim is on a completely different stratosphere to most fighters. So to see him be an American that people tips, and an American that is well known, was satisfying, because it's opened him up to a new audience. And as I say, in this country, for me, he doesn't get the credit that his talent deserves. That will happen in time. He's got a huge night to come on BBC Two at the end of January, which could be a watershed moment in terms of becoming a household name. And then we build from here. But he's got the talent to go to the top. He doesn't want to duck anyone. He wants to go quickly. So he's a pleasure to work with in that sense. And yeah, a massive 12 months for him, and hopefully one that we can, get to pay-per-view status by using the BBC platform, and that's what it's all about.
Who are the likes of the names that we could see him against in January? Obviously, that Zal Abdullayev fight was set. That's a personal one. I really liked that fight. Are we talking about the fringe world level names or the world level names next?
Fringe world level. For us, it's about interim titles. It's about getting him into the position now to fight for a world title. He's won everything else. He's gone through every title. It was the fastest ever to a European title. Won the IBO world title extremely young. And now I feel he's ready for world titles. He is the one to watch in that division. It's a great division, that 140 division. It's a money division. I think it's a division he can unify. I truly believe that. I don't think anyone will come close. But he'll prove that every single part of the way. He's extremely focused right now, extremely disciplined. But looking forward to a new chapter on the BBC where he can really, I think about Amir Khan and the nights on ITV, and ultimately he hit that and the Olympics that were on BBC. He probably has to credit for the rest of his career. All the money he made after that is because of those terrestrial nights that made him that household name. You can be a great fighter, but you want to be known. You want to be known by the man on the street, and that's the job now, alongside getting Adam to the top of the sport, is to get his talent recognised. And as I say, I think within sport, he's a big name now. Can we make sure he's struggling to walk down the street? I think that's what BBC is going to do.
Definitely. Final two fighters I want to talk about. Lauren Price. I listened to your interview with Steve Bunce on 5 Live. I think she was supposed to come out at the back end of this year. I mean, but yeah, obviously a unified champion. I mean, who wouldn't want to see a unified world champion on the BBC? Just a little update on Lauren Price.
Yes, she was due to fight this year. She's had a few issues herself. The goal is Cardiff, and I believe we'll see her fighting in Cardiff in January. Yeah, I can't say much more other than that I believe in announcements very soon. She looks at what happened with Katie Taylor in Ireland. That's the goal for her. She has that ability. For me, she's the best female on the planet. Michaela Mayer's the obvious fight. We've made an offer. We hope they accept. We hope we can make it happen. For me, she's probably the only female that beats Clarissa Shields on the planet. So there's massive fights for her. She's 29 years old. She wants those big nights, and she wants those nights in Cardiff, and it's our job to deliver them. And as you said, hopefully on the BBC as well.
So definitely that. So that's the target for Lauren Price to fight Michaela Mayer in January.
Look, if Michaela would accept it, my gut is that she won't want to come to Cardiff based on conversations I've heard. I've had her over here for Alicia Baumgartner. I've had her over here for Natasha Jonas, and she'll feel hard done to by both of those results. So I do get it about coming to the UK. I do appreciate it, but ultimately it is the biggest market for women's boxing. So I think this is where the fight will happen. Whether it's Cardiff first for Lauren, and then maybe at the Albert Hall for Michaela Mayer. That's something that we are looking at. We as I said, we've made an offer, and hopefully there's news on Lauren in the next few days.
Definitely, I mean, that's one of the biggest fights to make in boxing, let alone just women's boxing. Final one, Caroline Dubois, another world champion that, I mean, I'd like to see sooner rather than later. What's the update with Caroline Dubois?
Only that we did offer a fight earlier in the year. She wasn't quite able to take that fight, and there'll be news soon, but nothing to update.
Perfect. Ben, I'll leave you with the final words ahead of a massive fight week ahead, mate.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks. Cheers, Ben.
The revolutionary ankle lock system, an integrated brace built into the boots, delivering unrivaled support, protecting ligaments from twists, tears, and trauma.